Farming games and RPGs are usually the easiest games to pick up at any age, no matter what type of games you're usually into. They're fun, pretty relaxing, and some of the most rewarding, and in worst case scenario, really addicting. If you're looking for something like that, here's some of the best offline and online farming RPGs to pick up right now. Number 1. From here on out, we're only going uphill, so this isn't particularly the best game in the list, but here, we've got something called Dreamdale, which is technically a farming sim, but incorporating dungeon crawling game elements, where you get to play as a knight in his mission to rescue a princess. Gameplay-wise, it's pretty easy, fun game with a nice balance between interaction and upgrading and farming. There's a good sense of progression, but a gigabyte in total. Number 2, we have a blocky or recently retitled to Bricky Farm. This is actually a veggie-friendly, perfect pocket offline game to play just day and night. It's a tap and collect game basically, but it's fun and has some twists. A very easy to progress kind of game, been around for more than 5 years. So in terms of content, it's really jam-packed. Dedication in this game is the key. It really pays off tremendously, and you won't really need to pay a dime if you want the whole thing. The game is about 250 megabytes in total and playable offline. Next up, a game I've mentioned a few days ago. It's also the cutest game you'll see whole year. It's actually a casual merge / farming life sim, something called Cat Soup Magic Recipe. It's actually coming from the famous 10 million downloaded game Cat Soup. Cute Cat. This is the same developer as another single-player cat sim, but the difference between this and that is that Magic Recipe includes a lot of mixing ingredients and some witch cats that live all in just a little happy town too. It's an online game though, and about 200 megabytes in total. Awarded by the Google Play itself as the #1 most grossing sim game on the Play Store. You probably didn't know this so far, but this game earns more money than any other simulation game on the Play Store in mobile gaming right now. I mean, it's not just a farming RPG sim, but a puzzle game with mild challenges and some educational components. It's a free one, about 600 megabytes in total, and honestly, no matter how old you are, it's likely one of the most addicting games you can pick up and play right now. With almost 100 million downloads since the series' first game at number 5, we have from February this year, no longer in its pre-registration state, Farming Simulator 23. This is actually an $8 piece of game, so we're gonna be quick with the mention over here. This game, I just should point out, is fundamentally the most realistic looking farming RPG on the platform. A little laggy and a bit expensive. Works with a controller offline, and this is legit in-game footage. Farm Jam has been around for a little over a year now, but it's available globally for free since a month ago. It's actually an offline pair matching, breeding, and farming top-down 2D, 3D life sim kind of thing, and one of the best in replay. Content, variety of missions, and just graphics too. You can play this one optionally online and of course get more rewards. Fairly said it's one of the top 5 most addicting games in the list, so if you're rooting for something like that, we're actually not going to get any further this down the line. Number 7, we've got over here Sunrise Village. This is another free-to-play farming and adventure sim where you technically there to help your grandfather rebuild a family farm and nearby villages after some weird fog thing has messed up everything in this little town. I mean, it's pretty much Harvest Moon mixed with Mist, the horror movie anyway. And you get to build buildings, grow crops, take care of animals, and different things with what you harvest. Lots of quests to go through, lots of areas to discover, over 1 million downloads and very, very good reviews and rating. Number 8. From no more than a half a year ago and over 5 million downloads ever since, in addition to an amazing 4.7 review score, we have something called My Dear Farm. The second cutest video game in the list, technically speaking, the most detailed one too in terms of content to go through and spend time with different parts of it. It's got zero force ads, you can play it offline, very relaxing kind of game, very supportive developers too, and the whole thing's about 400 megabytes in total. Kauai Islands, Kawaiiverse, on the other hand, in case you're new to though, have been released last year, and it's also in the same style of My Dear Farm that we just mentioned earlier. It's rendered in 2D and plays in a super cute environment too, technically, where the game's called Kauai Island. I believe that's Japanese for cute. It's a free game, download over 100,000 times, and this is legit in-game footage. At number 10, with over 50,000 downloads and a 4.6 out of 5 since just 2 months ago. I mean, we do rarely a little bit get the type of game like this that gets a lot of attention, but nonetheless, we've got Pixie Island, which is technically speaking the first work of its developers too. This game is not just a farming sim in scale, it's also a building, crafting, fighting, defending, resource management, and a mission-based game in nature. So how it looks is about 450 megabytes in total and playable both online and offline. Coming up behind that, we've got over here Farmville 3, which is obviously the third installment of something, or, well, a really popular saga that started life back more than a dozen years ago. That's 2009. And for those of you who do know what I'm talking about, this sequel is of nature really identical to its original. It's a typical resource gathering farm life where you collect, harvest, and sell stuff for cash and get to level up. Got a decent amount of content, runs free, better when paid. However, the game is getting constant support, lots of quest fixes. It's from a well-known developer called Zynga, same people who've been doing the poker games, and it's already downloaded over 10 million times. At number 12, we have Family Farm Adventure. This is actually a strategy, basically, but a farm sim RPG where your mission is to explore different islands. You know, the process, there's puzzles to go through too, so technically it isn't just a tap and collect, but a very simple game to learn and a pretty nice variety of characters to meet and learn about. You have a few islands to go, there's a lot of missions. It's got a great story actually. There's online events in this game, which is basically where the real fun happens, and the whole thing's about 1 gigabyte in total. This is actually the number 4 most earning mobile game on the Play Store. My Free Farm 2, however, is pretty much the old Facebook game Farmville, where you decorate a farm, build all kinds of buildings, make friends, and eventually get to finish quests with them. You get to raise a bunch of different animals, ride horses, grow crops, and frankly, it would have been the perfect game if it were a little less money hungry. Anyway, this one's playable online at about 600 megabytes in total, gets daily quests every day. 10 out of 10, recommended for sure. There's really good developers. Number 14, we have Zombie Castaways. This is a resource management sim zombie game about some who has fallen in love with a girl, so he's just decided to become human, which is basically the movie Warm Bodies mixed with some zombie versus plant something in a Harvest Moon world. Game's out over 10 million times, it's bug-free, it's one of the top rated games on the Play Store, about 250 megabytes in total, and playable actually offline. There's a bunch of honorable mentions.